Okay, everybody, we're live right now on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. Can somebody, I can't do it, but can somebody check their phone, Metacourt TV, just to make sure that the feed is coming on? I think just real quick. But we're live. Mr. Dan, can you scoot over just a little bit? Because right behind you is the camera. There you go. Wow, right there. That'd be perfect. Thank you very much. That is perfect. Thank you. Jay said we're live. Jay said we're good.
You can't get her up there.
No, because she's not.
Yeah, you're good. You can see us.
We're live. Okay, good. Yeah, we remember that next time though. So listen, if y'all want to go in front of my wife, kind of stand right there in front of the door. Y'all want to give yourself a shout out. There you go. And let me open the door if y'all want to do that. Let me open the door. Open the gate. There we go. Yeah, give yourself a shout out.
Wait, is she there or is
there
she,
you go?
Is she
She's
there?
right there.
She's
Yeah, I can see y'all right now. There we go. I can see y'all on my big TV. Y'all look good. Look at y'all. Y'all look good. I see Wagner. Wagner's all the way in the front, giving a thumbs up.
Jimmy Mac.
There go Mac Daddy giving a thumbs up. Jay giving a thumbs up. Yeah.
Okay,
Come on up, Miss Chris. Come on up,
news.
Private Chrissy, and tell us about your day yesterday. Or Sarah, y'all tell us something. Now, Love, I know you love. You got all kind of followers, I already know.
Hello, John.
That's perfect.
My boy.
If you all want to invite your family, if you want to do a quick message on your page and say, hey, I'm in courtroom and we're about ready to get started, and y'all can go to Metacourt TV and watch this case. You can do that. This time my wife is actually like standing there. She's actually next to me, so it won't go in and out this time, y'all. It's gonna be solid for the whole case, so we ain't got to worry about it breaking up. Hopefully.
Hey, Miss
We are
Rose.
live. We got a live feed. All right. We got about 52 minutes. I think they're in the back doing that case. Yes.
52 minutes?
Can you
What?
I can hear
8 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
we can hear like the echo of your live stream, I guess, in the background.
I can't. Is it,
Oh, I can. When
my
I was
echo?
standing in the jury box, I could hear it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to.
No,
figure out how to do-
he could probably hear me watching it. I was watching it on my phone.
Oh, he was watching it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
all right.
If anybody see anybody that was part of the jury, if y'all see anybody like Miss Illinois or Gaming Granny, and who was the other one? If y'all see them on your feed, you can invite them in. But if not, we're gonna go with the five person jury, and we're gonna just go with it. Okay, this is good. Now at this point, y'all, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think we got like 20 or 21 people. If anybody would like to invite someone in, make sure they're a grown person. We don't want to invite any kids at this point. I think we got everybody here that's scheduled to do this case. So if y'all want to invite a person come in and watch this case at this point, I think it'll be okay. And but just let them know the next case they may have to leave out for the next case and make sure we get everybody. So this is what I'm gonna do. I think I see Kat. Let me see if I can invite Katniss. Have anybody seen The World Creator?
I just invited Kat.
Oh, you just invited Kat?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me see who else.
Yeah, I was looking for Herbert too.
I haven't seen Herbert. He was in here all day the other day. I see
Mr.
Lynn
Jones.
E.B. She's pretty cool. I invite her over here. I've been trying to get her to.
I hope my
be a
thing
part of the
doesn't crash in the
contest
middle of
for a
this
while.
court case. I'm gonna be mad.
I hope it doesn't either.
Make sure I got it plugged up. Oh, I already got it plugged up.
Yeah. And we would wait for you too. We wouldn't do you like
Last
that.
last night when I was in the middle of my case,
Who's
I
that
had
just
my
walked in? I
charger
can't see
plugged
their
in,
name yet.
but it wasn't all the way plugged
Sam.
in. And I
Oh,
got
hey.
a notice that it was at like 5% in the middle of my case.
Oh,
Oh wow.
I was
I bet you
scrambling
rushed.
because it was plugged in, but the cord had fallen out and I didn't realize it.
Make sure mine is actually charged. Okay, all right. He's in here. They're back there deliberating.
Yeah, I hear them. Yeah, they back there. Yeah. All right, we got
How
about
much time do we have?
4 minutes. If y'all can hear me, you see my I don't know what's going on. There we go. Now I can move.
4 minutes.
I'll go
About
let him
4
know,
minutes.
Judge.
Yeah, just tell them we got about 4 minutes. See, my menu's not coming up anymore. It's been messing up. Been messing up. Tell them to take their time, though. Take their time. 4 minutes. Take their time.
They said they heard you, Judge.
Oh, okay, all right. All right. And like I said, we're live. So let me do this. Let's go jumbo wumbo. All right, everyone that's watching us on Facebook Live. Thank you all for coming into the court with us. We are on our second day of our best lawyer in Metaverse contest. Go ahead, love. You got something to
Yeah.
say? Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. After the plaintiff's opening statement, can we call for a recess whenever doing the case?
Ooh, I usually don't do that, but I could probably give you a 30-second reset. 30 seconds. or
Yeah, we
something.
might need a
That's something I
30-second
need.
after that
Okay.
opening statement because this
After the
it's
opening
gonna be
statement?
rough.
Okay, got you.
Mhm.
But yesterday we
Talk
had
about
a
the
great
talk
day.
about the
Yesterday,
news. Talk about the news.
oh, the news, yeah. Yesterday I'm let you. Well, tell you what. How about you go right there and tell them real quick? Won't you go right in the front? Miss Love Holmes is going to make an announcement for the news. Go right there and say, go ahead, talk about your news. Talk about the news. Mhm.
Hey, everybody.
She can see you right there.
And
You
Love
good?
Holmes. So Meta
Hello,
Network News has decided to restart, and we are doing casting calls right now. So if you are interested in any of the positions in Meta Network News, look at the recent Facebook post.
One what
And-
case?
Scroll through all the opening positions and comment which position you would like with your username.
One
And
what
we'll get-
case?
Perfect.
Melrose, are you able to do a very easy, quick witness for me today? Yeah?
I can't see you, Miss Shark. You got to back up a little bit. If you back up, there you go, right there.
Sorry.
No. Go up to her, but you disappear when you get too close.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, right there. Yeah, just come right. You was talking to her. I thought you was talking to the camera. I thought she was talking
No,
to
he
the
was
camera.
trying to get Miss Rose as the witness.
No, she's getting some witnesses, Your Honor.
That's the plaintiff. That's the camera. I thought she had a witness that's back there talking.
She was talking with
Roller,
me.
Roller
We
Gracie.
need one more witness.
One more witness. Roller Gracie got his chips. He's got his snacks.
You hear that? Okay.
I can hear you.
I have a sandwich to eat at some point too. So
Oh, let me do this. We got a minute
Wait,
left.
is the plaintiff
go ahead.
Is the plaintiff staying for the whole case?
Yeah, he's staying for the
Yeah.
whole case this time. Yeah,
I don't leave till 10:40.
10:40. Can you all join a private the group? Make sure y'all join say it again, honey. Yeah, join a party. So Creepy Shark, go ahead and join a party with Roller Gracie and your witness and everything. Go ahead and join a
All right.
party up, and so you all can talk to each other
I
without
just want to say,
talking to
I
everybody.
Your Honor,
don't know how to do
Your
that, to be
suit.
honest.
There we
There
go.
it is,
Did
right
you
there.
get that suit pressed?
That's
does
that's
that
not hard.
Pressed today?
Yeah, I got it pressed. Actually,
Wait, now
this
we're
is
in
a
a
new one.
party?
This is
Yeah.
a new one.
It
Shut
looked
up.
nice. It looked nice. And ladies
But
and
do I
gentlemen,
put
jury, y'all look
everyone
real
or
good
just
as well.
my party?
Yeah, so good
sorry.
party only.
If any of y'all want some cash app, I can donate to y'all cash app.
Okay, well, all right, Miss Holmes. Come on now.
Sorry.
All right, it's 8:00. Let me go and shut the gate.
If it's no thing around the earphones, then everyone can hear you, and it'll tell you which one you're at.
Oh, that's fantastic. I just figured out party chat met or Judge Fishback.
No problem.
That is
All right,
get
everyone.
around. Give me my pick.
Again, welcome to day 2 of our Best Judge best lawyer in the metaverse or in meta court contest. This is day 2. We are here. We are ready to get started. I'm gonna grab my gavel and we're gonna get in order. All right, everyone. Here we go. Order. Court is now in order. Miss Creepy Shark, can you tell the jury why Mr. Roller Gracie is suing Mr. Indy Jones 1?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. And first of all, thank you for hearing this case, Your Honor, and humans of the jury. Thank you for being here today for this very important case, which I'm sure if any of you have ever had a rough roommate before, you understand a bit of what goes on here. So today, we're really not just talking about a court case. We're talking about a pair of friends. One friend, my client, tried their best to cover the financial aspects of the defendant's mishaps. The other took advantage of my client, refusing to pay their half of the rent for 5 months, nearly half of the term of the lease, which is quite a lot if you've ever paid rent, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Today, we're suing for unpaid funds. After moving in to the shared property on January 1st, 2022, the defendant first missed a payment on July 1st, 2022 for a lease that ended just this past January 1st, 2023. This was signed under both of them, both my client and the defendant, for their joint tenancy. Today's records and testimony will show that there's been no effort on the defendant's side to resolve these payment issues, including the pleas made by my client for the offered mediations or interest-free payment plans to assist the defendant in their repayment of 5 full months of rent and utilities. Humans of the jury, frankly, I'm not going to ask you anything crazy today. I'm not going to ask you to decipher a cryptic crime. You just need to witness the documents and testimony we have here today to come to the only logical conclusion. The defendant thought they could ride out their lease without paying a cent once they decided not to. Thank you.
He's good. And just one last question. How much are we suing for? Like what is the balance?
Oh, yes,
of the
Your
lease?
Honor. My apologies. We are suing for a total of, let me just double check my notes because I don't want to be wrong when I tell you. We are suing for a total of $3,000 in missing rent and $1,000 in utilities payments missed, Your Honor.
All right, so $4,000 total. All right.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think you all heard all that information. That was very succinct. Ms. Love Holmes, do you need a extra minute or two to collaborate? Are you good? All
Was it
right.
terrible?
No,
What
I'm
do you
good.
think?
So, all right. So, Ms. Holmes, first of all, here's the question for you. Just answer this one question. Is your client pleading guilty or not guilty of these charges?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about the defense or your side over there?
Yes, I could. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honorable Judge Glenn, the plaintiff has not only insulted my client's financial status, but has defamated him on a judicial level. My client has not only paid his bills for the month and months prior, but has also picked up the slack that the plaintiff has produced through a lack of financial contribution. But let me also inform you, this is not a mutual lease. It is my client's name that is in fact on that lease. Had he not paid those bills, they would be evicted. Your Honor, this is no longer a case where my client is being sued for an act of payment, but a moment in which we unravel the false accusations on the plaintiff's behalf. The defense pleads not guilty and will be countersuing for the entirety of those 4 months in which not my client wasn't paying the bills, but no, false. The plaintiff was not paying for the bills, which is $2,500
You're right.
in back payments for bills and utilities. And also defamation of character, since the plaintiff saying that my client isn't financially stable, which has strained my client's ability
I didn't say
to
that.
continue on his lease. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hope that you find in your hearts that Mr. Indy, who is not only capable of paying these bills, but we find that Roller Gracie is a opportunist who takes advantage of people who are willing to share their home. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So the defendant has entered in a counterclaim in the amount of $2,500. This claim
Your Honor,
is,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, not 2,000, 10,500.
Oh, 10,000. I'm
months.
sorry. I
For
thought I
4
said
months,
okay.
yes.
So I stand corrected. It's $10,500. This a counterclaim, and the counterclaim consists of monies that were not paid to Mr. Jones, also for defamation of character. All right, there we go. Now let's go to the evidence phase of this case. The creepy shark. I'm gonna give you 3 pieces of evidence to support your claim against Mr. Indy Jones. What is your first piece of evidence?
Thank you, Your Honor. Our first piece of evidence, which I'll loop it up to you, is the actual lease agreement in which both parties signed. Although Ms. Love Holmes did mention that it was his name on the lease, but both parties did sign equally to pay rent on the Castle Apartments property. The second piece of evidence I will be is the roommate. Yes.
Hold on, before you go into the second piece. So you're sending me this document, and I'm looking at it, and just want to make sure that both parties are fair. So you're saying that this document that I'm looking at is a lease agreement between Mr. Roller Gracie and Mr. Indy Jones Warren, and you're saying this lease agreement is an equal agreement. Is that correct?
Your Honor, it is a pretty typical lease agreement between my client, Indy Jones, and their landlord, who is here today.
We have the landlord here, Miss
Oh,
Sharp.
Technicolor
Looks like we
Dan.
have the
Oh,
land-
Technicolor Dan
we
is
have-
actually the landlord, one of my witnesses.
See, and Your Honor, that's why I wanted to discuss that piece of evidence. We would like to object to that piece of evidence simply because Mr. Dan, in fact, the landlord of said residence, until my client's, the current landlord, Miss Chrissy here, they did divorce, and she was in fact given said property. That lease was in fact enabled invalid the minute Miss Chrissy took over. All leases had to be re-signed.
So let me do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to submit her lease in the evidence, right? And then if you have another lease and another situation, we'll talk about that next. All right. So Miss Creepy Sharp, I'm submitting your lease in the evidence. What is your second piece of evidence?
One moment. All right, just making sure I'm charging. Our second piece of evidence, Your Honor, is the roommate agreement signed when they both moved into the apartment building on January 1st, 2022. In the roommate agreement, I've highlighted page 3, which dictates financial responsibilities between Mr. Roller Gracie and Mr. Indy Jones 1. With these, as you can see on the paper, does say that they will be splitting the rent equally. And they even name secondary family members who might help either of them out if there is a case when any of the months they are short on rent or worrying about rent for unforeseen circumstances. And I do have the notary here that notarized that roommate agreement to testify to it.
Okay, so what you have, you have a lease agreement, and then on top of that, you have a roommate agreement. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
And what's your third piece of evidence?
Our third piece of evidence is a letter of intent my clients came to me initially to serve to the defendant. This letter of intent details the exact amount of rent and utilities split, and it is itemized for each of the months and days that it was missed. The letter of intent also details offers for mediation and for interest-free peer payment plans that my client was willing to set up to ensure that there was no interest or APR that the defendant would be worried about in beginning, at least just beginning to repay these rent and utilities bills. At the end of the letter on page 6, Your Honor, you will see that there is the question of legal action, in which my client in this letter states that if these funds were not paid or begun to be paid or mediated or discussed in the very least by the end of the month in December 2022, that my client would indeed then seek legal action, which, as you can see, he did.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think I think you all heard the evidence. Is that correct? We have a lease agreement, right? And then the second page, we have a lease agreement, and then we have a secondary roommate agreement between the parties, and then we have a letter of intent to basically sue. If we can't get together and work this out, then I'm gonna sue you. So that was the third piece of evidence that she wants to put in place.
Exactly, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Holmes. Now,
Your Honor,
yes?
may I just add? I know I skipped to page 2 and then to page 6, but you will see a note that in page 4 through 5 there are screenshots of previous conversations that were included in the letter of intent to show these messages, these iMessages specifically, showing the discussion between my client and the defendant about the missed payments.
Okay. Well, I just want to give that we may not be able to discuss that one because that's kind of almost like a fourth piece of evidence. So we just want to deal with the three pieces.
Yes,
Is that
Your
okay?
Honor.
All right.
Yes.
So Miss Love Holmes, now you have 3 pieces of evidence to support your claim of this defense. What's your first piece of evidence?
Okay, this party's amazing.
I think you're still in a party because we can't hear you out here. There you go.
The first piece of evidence, Your Honor, that I like to bring up is bank statements from my client's bank account showing that he paid the entirety of those bills for the last 4.
I gotta hear this.
Hold on 1 second. Miss Shark, if you can go into your party, we can hear you. Yes, there you go.
Yes, showing that
There
he
you
did
go.
in fact pay the entirety of that $10,500 in those 4 months, Your Honor. The second piece evidence I'd like to bring up for you is we're not doing messages, correct? We're not doing messages.
Well,
I can read the messages out.
It's just that her messages would have been like a fourth piece of evidence.
Okay,
We can't
okay,
do
yeah.
messages, but yeah. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll go back to that. The second piece of evidence I'd like to bring forth is the lease, which was signed by the new landlord, Miss Chrissy, and we also attached to that are the property records showing the transfer of the properties from Mr. Dan over to Miss Chrissy. The third piece of evidence that I'd like to bring up is, like she stated, there was a roommate agreement, but what she did fail to skip over is a very key part of that, is that in the signing of that roommate's agreement, which was monitored and also signed by the landlord, Miss Chrissy, it did have to be re-signed after the transfer of power, stating that the plaintiff and the defense must pay $2,000 a month for bills and utilities. And also a key part is that there must be a mutual financial advisor between the plaintiff and the defense, which oversaw all the transactions between Mr. Indy Jones, Mr. Roller Gracie, and the plaintiff, and the landlord, Chrissy. So we do actually have the financial advisor here to testify. We also have the landlord, Miss Chrissy, and we'll have my client testify as well, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defense evidence is this, and I want to make sure I get it right, so I may ask you
Okay.
again. The first piece of evidence is his bank statements, which shows that he paid $10,500 to the landlord in behalf of Mr. Roller Gracie and himself for the months in question. The second piece of evidence is a new lease. So this is not the lease that she's putting in evidence. This is a new lease between Roller Gracie, Indy Jones 1, and Pirate Chrissy, because she is the new owner of said residence that she got in a divorce between Techner Dan and Miss Pirate Chrissy. So that's that second piece of evidence. And then the third piece of evidence was this other legal agreement, which shows that
it's the same legal agreement. It's the same. It's not another one.
Right.
It's the same legal agreement, Ms. Shark. I'm just giving you another point, like she highlighted a page of
I
the
got
agreement.
you.
I'm highlighting. Yeah.
So the second another part of this agreement is that the financial transactions had to be witnessed by Miss Chrissy. Is that correct?
Yes, Miss
she-
Note.
and she-
Any transactions between Mr. Roller Gracie and Mr.
Gracie,
Indy Jones was seen
yes.
by the financial advisor who's here to testify, Mr. Jimmy McDaddy.
Oh, financial advisor. So the time that Mr. Roller Gracie and Mr. Indy Jones one were to make a payment or any type of financial transaction, it had to be witnessed by an advisor, and that's going to be one of her witnesses. So that is the evidence from Miss. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And let me specify that, like you said, I don't mean any transaction. I mean in terms of bills and utilities. Those payments for the bills and utilities to Miss Chrissy were overseen by the financial advisor to ensure incident like this didn't happen. But
Exactly.
yet
So
it happened.
yeah, and that's a transaction as well. That's
Correct.
anytime. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, of the jury, that is the evidence in this case between the plaintiff and the defendant. Nearer to the phase of the witnesses, Miss Creepy Shark, you have. So who would you like to call as your first witness to this matter?
Thank you, Your Honor. The first witness I would like to call is Technicolor Dan, the original landlord for the first 10 months of
Come on in,
my
Mr. Dan.
client's residency on the property.
Please take a seat at the witness stand. I'm gonna swear you in now. Can you please put your right hand on the good book and your left hand up?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth here in Metacourt?
I do.
All right, Miss Creepy Shark, you have 3 questions, maybe 4. I may give you some leeway if the questions are good. Proceed, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. And thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Dan, thanks for coming to testify today. I'm sorry you've gone through this. This is a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So, when you first entered into a lease with Mr. Indy Jones, were you at all afraid of, or how did you feel about his financial situation?
Well, I thought it was good. They both came and they signed the lease, and they had to provide information that they would both be paying a portion of the rent, which was $1,200, and they were going to be paying a portion, and they had to prove that they had an income to do that.
How did they have to prove their income?
They had to show pay stubs. I require pay stubs to make sure that they make an adequate income to support the rent.
I understand. How do you take rent payments, Technicolor Dan?
Well, I have a payment system. And with that system, every month when a tenant pays, it will show their name and the amount that they've paid. So in this case, every month I would get a payment from each of the tenants, and it would show me their name and how much they've paid that month.
So, Technicolor Dan, are you saying that you can see separately when one tenant or another pays rent on a single property?
Correct.
Ma'am, then that's 4 questions. I think
Yes, Your Honor.
I think you do you need an additional question? Because that was 4. Do you need an additional question?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like one more question.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll give you a little leeway. One more question.
Yes. Did you see, following the date of July 1st, beginning the date of July 1st, 2022, did you see payments from Mr. Indy Jones 1?
I did not. I only saw payments from Mr. Roller Gracie for the entire amount of the rental agreement.
Thank you,
All right.
Technicolor Dan. No further questions.
Mr. Love Holmes, you may cross-examine. Again, now, because I gave her 5 questions, you have 5 as well.
All right. Mr. Dan, are you currently married?
I am. I'm currently married to Miss Chrissy. We are in a legal separation. We have to wait a full year for that to take effect.
It's false. How is that you guys married? But what we've shown here is that the lease agreement, the original lease agreement, was in fact under your name, Dan. And then after, when we had to re-sign the leases, which leases were re-signed in July, your guys' divorce happened in April. From what I've gotten from Miss Chrissy. And the
Objection, Your
property
Honor.
transfer-
Relevance.
What do you, okay,
That's
Miss-
very
Miss- Miss
relevant.
Love?
I'm-
How?
go ahead.
Okay.
How's
And-
this relevant? No, Miss Love, Miss Holmes.
Oh, how's it relevant? Well, what
Yes,
I'm
how's
trying
it-
to show here is that Mr. Dan stated that he witnessed the signing of the leases in July, which doesn't make sense because
Objection to that, Your Honor. The leases were signed in January of 2022.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. Hold on. That's
he
not
stated
order.
that he knew the payments after July. And after July, the property was now owned by Miss Chrissy. He would have no records of that.
All right, I think it's Miss Shark. I think that's what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that these ones are divorced, and then after the property changed hands to Miss Chrissy, then he had no dealings after that. I think that's what she's trying to say. Is that correct?
Yes, Your
All
Honor,
right,
I
correct.
understand,
But-
but the property did not change hands until 2 months before January in November.
That's false, Your Honor.
Well,
we have everything
this is what I'm going
right
to do.
here.
This is what I'm going to do, ma'am. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to, Miss Holmes. I'm going to let you continue with your questioning. But I'm going to leave it with the jury. I'm going to see what the jury has to say about that. Ma'am, are you done with your question? I see you sit down. You have a couple
yes,
more
I'm good.
questions you want to ask? You're done?
I'm good.
Okay. So here's what. So let's take a pause, ma'am. Sir, you may sit down. Right? You may sit down. Thank you very much.
What's the paper?
Thank you, Dan.
Let me just
You're
open the
welcome.
gate. And let me, 1 second, let me talk to the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, there is a dispute on the 2 opposing contracts as to when each contract was signed or when said property moved to a new owner after a divorce. So I want you all to take that in consideration and think about that as we go on into the witness phase, because I think that's going to come up again, okay? Ms. Creepy Sharp, who's your second witness you'd like to call?
The second witness I would like to call, Judge Fishback, is my client, Roller Gracie.
Mr. Gracie, please come up. Sir, would you please put your right hand on the good book and your left hand up?
Yes, sir.
Do you promise to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, here in Metacourt?
I do.
All right. Ms. Shark, you have 3 questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. And thank you, humans of the jury. Roller Gracie, You entered in this lease agreement in January of last year.
Yes,
At
ma'am.
what point did the rent payments from your roommate stop?
July of 2022. I didn't receive any from July onwards. And I thought we were
July
such good friends.
Mm,
I just didn't understand why he would do such a thing.
did you? I mean, that does
Objection,
seem.
Your Honor.
Ma'am,
Objection.
okay, wait. What are you objecting to?
Mr. Roller Gracie stated he stopped seeing payments after July.
Okay.
That's false.
Which we entered.
Mr. Gracie's name was no longer on the lease after July.
Your Honor,
Okay.
we put
So-
into opening statements and evidence that they were both on the lease from July
And Your Honor,
1st,
and I
2022.
presented a new lease that was signed in July.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I knew this was gonna come up again. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we have two leases that each side has put in place. I'm gonna leave it up to the jury to decide
Okay.
when one lease terminated and when one lease moved on to the next. So we have two leases. So the question is, when did the first lease terminate and when did the second lease come in place? All right? We'll let the jury decide that. Keep moving on with your questions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Roller Gracie, let me just go ahead and ask, were you aware of being, I'm not even sure, were you aware of being evicted from your lease?
No. I mean, I live there. How could I have been evicted from it? And how do you change a lease mid-lease like that?
So you weren't aware of there being a new contract to be signed for the home that you were currently and
Objection, Your
thereafter
Honor.
living in?
Objection. Another
okay, so
objection.
what are you objecting
He
to?
stated that he was not evicted from his lease. He was not evicted, Your Honor. He was not. He was still part of the roommate agreement. He's no longer considered a primary tenant. He is now just seen as a roommate. Mr. Roller Gracie wasn't there that day to sign the lease. He was not evicted. He was just no longer a primary tenant.
Okay.
Your Honor, I don't think that there can be any indication of a secondary lease if my client wasn't there to sign it.
So this is what I'm going to do. Now, Ms. Holmes,
Yes,
you
there
just mentioned
can and there was. He wasn't there. He missed the date that waited right when the property was transferred by Miss Chrissy. She had no. See, that will
Okay.
come out when Miss Chrissy testifies, but he
All
missed
right.
the date
So-
that has nothing to do with.
Okay.
the
Okay.
court.
So this is what
So
I'm doing.
was it
Order.
signed by my
Order.
client?
One second. Order.
Yes,
Order.
yes, ma'am.
Order. Hold 1 second. So Miss Love Holmes, the defendant's lawyer, just put into the official record that Mr. Roller Gracie was not there to sign the second lease. So I just want to make everyone clear in the jury. This is coming from Miss Love Holmes. So now the
Your Honor.
jury.
But he was still
Has to
part
be-
of the roommate agreement.
Okay,
He was
now,
still
well,
part of it. He was
all right.
still
So this is what we'll do.
living.
This is what we'll do. We're here that doing your witness phase. We're here how that comes about. But I just want to let the ladies and gentlemen of the jury know that Mr. Roller Gracie did not sign and was not there to sign the second lease. Go ahead, Mr. Creek, Miss Shark.
Thank you. And Miss Creepy is absolutely perfect, Your Honor.
Okay, okay, Miss
Uh,
Creepy.
Yeah. No, dude, you're fine.
All right.
Roller Gracie, sorry, on your, how many questions do I have left? I
You have one
apologize,
more.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. You may have
Yes,
a
Your
second
Honor.
one. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
You've asked 2 questions so far.
Oh, perfect, Your Honor. Thank you. Roller Gracie, can you tell me a little bit of background on the whole situation of you approaching Mr. Indy Jones about the missed rent payments and how it affected you?
Yes. So I approached him because he wasn't showing up anymore at the apartment. He had some chick he was with. I don't know what was going on with that, but he wasn't coming home anymore and he wasn't giving any more rent. And then he's making up all this stuff. So I don't know what to think of it because we were such good friends because we worked together. And that's why I went into a mutual dwelling with him because we were such friends and we worked together. And then I guess some woman got involved and who knows?
All right, let's go and leave it at that, Miss Creepy.
Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Gracie.
Miss Love Holmes, you can cross-examine this witness.
Your Honor, sorry, Mr. Roller Gracie. If you guys were part of the roommate agreement and you guys paid together, why were you seeing my client's payments?
Because that was part of the agreement where I would be able to see his payment. When his payment wasn't coming through, then it's an obligation of me to have to pay what he's missing. And I was trying to be helpful with that. And the financial advisor saw that. And what happens is that we had in the agreement, agreement that we had between us, that if I couldn't pay it or if he couldn't pay it, my grandmother would pay it or his uncle would help pay it. And that was part of the agreement, and he wasn't paying. So, I was trying to find out how I could do something to get that going.
Well, Mr. Roller Gracie, you should never be seeing my client's payments. Mr. Dan should receive your payments separately, and it should come together under your guys' apartment. But that's neither here nor
Objection,
there.
Your
My other
Honor.
question-
There
What are you
is fact. The
What's
payment
it?
process, the payment processing that the landlord uses, as he already said, states that there is a portal in which each tenant can submit and see payments. They are
I
visible
don't believe
to
he
both
ever
the landlord
stated that,
and
Your Honor.
the
Yeah,
tenants.
yeah. Now, one second. Now, this is what Mr. Dan said. Mr. Dan said there was a portal that he can see when each one submitted their payment. But I think Ms. Love's question is, how is it that Mr. Roller Gracie had access to this portal to see who paid what? I think it's her question. Is that correct, Miss Gracie? I mean, Miss Holmes.
Well, Your Honor, the landlord would talk to me to get the payment if he's not paying it. So that I'm obligated
So
to
the
pay it 'cause
landlord
he
was
wants the full
biased?
rent.
Is that one of your
Biased? How could be
questions?
biased?
I heard bias.
So
Your
I
Honor,
think
have
my
no further
client, Your
questions.
Honor, is saying that the landlord
Okay,
was
one
asking
sec-
him
one-
why
one
there were
sec.
only payments from my client.
No, I understand.
That's not.
She's order. She says she has no further questions for you, sir. You may